There we go. There we go. I'm unmuted this time. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are ready to discuss 007, James Bond, Casino Royale, because I'm ready. I just rewatched it. Just got finished watching the whole thing. And getting prepared for No Time to Die and to get totally disappointed. But today, joining me is my friend. I hope I'm not, going out on a limb there saying my friend. Comix Division. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, dude?
It's going good, because I just finished this movie, and it's a rad damn fucking movie.
It is a rad damn movie.
There you go. So, this is Comix Division. If you don't know already, you should know Comix Division. He's a great man. You should go subscribe to his channel. He does a lot of great stuff. What is the other stuff that you do if you want to plug anything right off the bat?
Okay, so I typically do a stream every Monday and Thursday. Monday is a little bit more political. Thursday, we try and keep it lighthearted, talking more about entertainment. And of course, you guys know that we're both on FNT.
That's right. That is right. Also, you guys in the chat, I'm going to say hi to you guys in a second because I see a lot of the usuals and some new people, which is great. We are also going to join you guys in, so if you have any questions or any comments on the movie, send them in super chats, or you could use the donation link in the description. I prefer that because it subverts YouTube, and that's always great. But we're just going to get into it now, and I'm going to ask you a question. So this came out 2006.
That's right.
Did you watch it in theaters whenever it first came out?
I saw it in the theaters with my wife.
How were you a Bond guy before, or do you know all the Bond movies? Because I don't know all of them. I just know like the main ones, like Dr. No, GoldenEye, of course, and then the Daniel Craig ones. But I'm not like a super aficionado. I don't know about you.
Yeah, neither am I. I mean, I do like the Bond movies. I mean, growing up in the 80s, I used to watch the Roger Moore movies that, they were great. Going back and rewatching them, they're not so great, but they're still kind of fun.
Yeah, there's a cheese factor to them. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I like Bond, I would say that Craig is probably my least favorite Bond. I have actually not seen all of his movies, but Casino Royale though I really like. It's a good movie.
I think Casino Royale is definitely his best.
Yes.
And they I always say this, it's always every other Daniel Craig film is good. So Casino Royale, good. Quantum of Solace, not good. Skyfall, good.
Good.
And then Spectre, not good. So I'm hoping No Time to Die will be good. It'll end on a good note. Everything we've seen and kind of heard so far has been up in the air. I've heard good, I've heard bad. It's been delayed. They shot this thing in 2019.
Yeah.
They were doing press on the set in 2019. That's crazy how long ago it was shot and how long they held on to it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite Bond? We want to get that.
Oh, definitely Connery.
Okay.
I mean, Roger Moore has a special place in my heart because that's when I was growing up. But obviously, hands down, Connery is the best Bond.
Yeah. What do you think? I just saw this, and I think it's brilliant. The video where it goes through the theory that The Rock is a James Bond movie. Have you seen that? I love that.
I've heard that. Yeah,
because there's a lot of things that kind of connect there. What did you think whenever you first saw it? What did you think that he was a good Bond off the bat? Because I mean, you'd say he's the least, but
I mean, he's a different Bond. He's a very different Bond, especially in Casino Royale. He's a lot more raw and unrefined. Yeah, and Casino Royale is a very, very physical movie too. It's probably the most physical Bond we've seen, which I think is pretty cool. But the other thing too is Daniel Craig, he's kind of blonde headed,
a little baby face.
And that's the whole thing, man. James Bond has dark hair. Yeah, so I mean,
got those blue eyes.
He does.
They really went out there because at the end of we'll talk about this, the Chris Cornell opening, he just looks at the camera and it's just blue eyes, I think they really went into that because they were expecting people to be oh, he's blonde haired, blue eyed, and they kind of they went with that look.
Yeah,
they're he's very different.
Timothy Dalton is probably the worst Bond.
I was gonna say, yeah, Timothy Dalton. Although I do like Timothy Dalton. I think he's a really good actor. But yeah, I don't know if he's like the best Bond.
No, not in the least.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I thought he was good. I mean, 2006. That was when I was a teenager at that time, and I think that was pretty. He came out at a good time where it was like you said, it's the most physical. We had the Jason Bourne. When was the first Bourne film? I feel like this played off of that, or did this come out first?
I want to say the Bourne films came out first. Let's see, was it Bourne Identity?
Because they couldn't, if it came out first, they couldn't go.
Yeah, Bourne Identity was 2002, but
Okay.
Layer Cake was the movie where I guess they were trying him out as Bond. I would say.
Yeah.
Have you seen Layer Cake?
Yes.
Yeah,
I like Lee.
Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. But yeah, I mean, I think that's where probably what got him the gig. I mean, really, they were like, this guy can do that more physical, but then also have that charm that I think Bond has, and he's like you said, he's very raw in this one, in a great way to differentiate and really set Bond's character in this one is that whole first chase scene when he's chasing that parkour dude. And
yeah, that was one of the things I was gonna say, which was pretty neat about the movie, is that it was definitely a product of its time because parkour was really big during that time period, and I like how they integrated it into the movie and how terrible at parkour he was at it.
Yeah. The difference between the professional parkour guy and Daniel Craig, and they kind of made that part of that's really his character in this movie. Is he's a blunt tool. M even says it. This will be hard for a blunt tool to understand. Like the one shot that I thought really set Daniel Craig's Bond is whenever that guy he parkours, he grabs the pipe and goes up through that little window, and then Bond just runs through the wall and just busts down the wall. Like that sets who this Bond
wall.
is.
Yeah, that was great.
That's who this Bond is. He's just gonna go right through everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the villains were good. The pacing of the movie was really well done. The way it kind of moved the story along from these high octane kind of action pieces to slow setting up you get the next clue for the next thing and then move on. And I thought that was paced very well.
I agree. It was also a very very grounded Bond movie. There we go. I can say words. Trust me. And the fact that, you didn't have a lot of the over the top gadgets.
Yeah.
It really was kind of a reset of the universe with Daniel Craig. Yeah. It's completely self-contained. You have Judi Dench as M, who in my opinion, I thought she did a fantastic job as M.
Yeah.
And just I love the kind of back and forth between M and Bond, how she's just this, old kind of tired, spy that's been around since the Cold War. No nonsense.
When she's like, I wish the Cold War,
I
pine for those days kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he breaks into her apartment,
into her house.
Into her house. Yeah.
It's like, how did you do that? How did you get my password? All this stuff. It kind of shows you how resourceful Daniel Craig's Bond is, despite the fact that he's a blunt instrument.
And it kind of, in that first scene where he breaks into her house, you can tell that there's some kind of history there between the two of them. Mm-hmm. They set that up perfectly. Like, it's easy to try and say, oh, there's some history between these two characters, but it really felt that way. Probably because she's such a great actress and he's such a good actor, they were able to instantly kind of set off there's a relationship there. It may be rocky or, something like that, but there is something there. And I think they set that up really well. And yeah, I thought they did that part very well, setting up kind of the stage of where Bond is. It's an origin story basically. Mm-hmm. Because the opening scene is him getting the double O's and actually achieving that. So I mean, setting all those things up and then going from there, I thought it did a really well job.
Well, the other thing too I really liked about it is how it opened up in black and white.
Yes, and it's very tasteful. Like, it was very well done, like noir. the set, like the camera angles that they did.
That fight scene in the bathroom where he's like, beating his head into the sink and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think of Mads Mikkelsen's Le Chiffre?
I thought he was great. I mean, that was kind of my introduction to him as an actor. And
yeah, same.
He plays such a great villain. You know, he's
born to play a villain. I feel sorry for that guy because that's all he could, like, I feel like he's typecast into the villain role because
at least
he's got such
US
a perfect...
he is. I mean, I think he's from Denmark.
Yes,
and he's done a lot of stuff in Denmark. I guess it's completely different. But there's like
they all look like villains there, I guess.
Yeah, I guess there was like a movie that he was in that came out like 2 years ago, where he's kind of the good guy, which was really good. Yeah,
is it that like Antarctic movie?
Yeah,
there was a movie something like that.
I gotta look it up. I need to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job because he's menacing as hell. Always in that fucking eye with the drippy blood.
That was the best part with his character, was the fact that he had the eye that was basically leaking blood.
They did a really good job adapting this to film. Have you ever read the James Bond 007 novels?
I have not.
So I've read I think I read up to Moonraker, and Casino Royale is the first one.
Yes, it is.
It's actually very close to the book. The book is very, very, very similar. Obviously, it's set in different time periods, and there's like the Cold War's going on in that one. But it's very similar. Most of the main cast are there. Felix Leiter is there. Mathis is there. Yeah, like most of it's all there. And I think they did a really good job. It's a good idea to go back to the very first James Bond book to start a whole new James Bond.
Yeah. Parler is the movie that he was in.
Parler, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. And okay, this is one thing that I know a lot of people like this lady. I am not a big fan. Eva Green.
No.
Not a fan of Eva Green. I don't know how you feel about her.
It depends on the movie or TV show. She was actually pretty decent in Penny Dreadful. I don't think she's all that.
A lot of people do. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You know,
dude. The one chick at the very beginning of the movie. Let me see if I can.
Yes. Okay. So
she's hot.
That's a good. Whenever he's in Miami, I believe. So M tells Bond, because he chased down the black dude that's like running, and they catch him. He catches him in the embassy, pulls him out like a badass, and then they catch him, and he basically gives up, throws him, shoots the guy, blows up the embassy, and gets away. And then that's whenever he breaks into Judi Dench's house and is he's like, one less bomber, one less bomb maker in the world. So then she tells him to just leave, like, get off of this case, you put your head in the sand. So he leaves, but obviously he's Bond, so he's not going to get off the case.
Of course.
He goes to Miami because he has the phone from the bomber, and the bomber that phone left him that message. What was it called? It was like Elysium?
Yeah, something like it. It was like the passcode to the security door in the Miami airport
later on.
And that's like a really good example of another fantastic fight scene that we get.
Yes.
And they had like these nice, like, long running fight scenes that are like more like chases.
Yeah, they're like
car chases occasionally.
They're like car chases, but they're on foot, and then they turn into fight scenes. It's the pacing on it is just brilliant. It's so good.
But yeah, the wife of Alex Demetrius, she is smoking hot.
Right.
Yes.
I
it's too bad that she doesn't make it through the first act.
No, she does not. And that's another point where I felt like they were really like, okay, we need to set, whenever they were in the writing room writing this, they were like, we need to establish this Bond as not just another, Pierce Brosnan trying to imitate. They were like, we need to establish this one as a little different, a little more cold, a little more blunt. And that is another point in it that I think is a great way to establish it in the early part, is whenever he seduces her, right? And even while they're basically about to have sex, he's still like interrogating her. Yeah. He's like, have you ever heard of this, whatever that passcode thing is? And she's like, blah 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 blah. And then she tells him that his husband, her husband is leaving, and
Going
he's
to
like,
Miami.
he's like, yeah, well, I guess we're gonna need some more champagne. And he orders champagne, and they're like, for 2, and he's like, no, for 1, because he's still on the job.
Yep.
He's still on the job. So he chases that dude. He goes to the human body exhibit. They have that little fight, the little knife fight, where whatever that guy's name. What was that guy's name?
Demetrius.
Demetrius.
Yeah.
He like spots him and he pulls the knife on him, and they're like in public trying to stab each other. And then of course
he's like, "Hey, look over there."
Yeah,
That's the best part.
That get him. He was just like dead. And then that led him to chase down the other bomb, the guy that was going to drop off the bomb at the airport. And they go through the whole chase scene, go to the airport. They're going to blow up this airplane. And
on its maiden voyage.
On its maiden voyage, which we actually set up earlier, where Lashif gets the money from the African drug lords or whoever the hell those guys were, the guerrilla warriors. They get the money from them. He immediately takes that money and then bets in the stock market against that airline, and then that's why he's going to blow up that thing and then drop the stock. But then Bond saves the day.
And he loses money.
And he loses all that money. And then whenever he gets back to Miami, and she's been killed. And I think that's a point where you really see Daniel Craig's Bond, at least in this one. I know he gets softer throughout the movies, through the multiple movies. But in this one, he is dead cold. He's like a shark. When he goes up there and sees her and she's like swinging, you see there for like a second that he might have a little like kind of sadness, and then M takes him away and then kind of tells him the plan of what they're going to do, puts the chip in his hand or in his arm, and then they go back and he's watching her get zipped up in the body bag, and he's just like nothing.
Stony face. Yeah.
Just nothing. And I thought that was a great way to establish what type of Bond this is. And yeah, he's just cold. He's just a cold motherfucker. But then you see, like in the movie, his layers get peeled off, right?
Yeah, they do.
Eva Green, Vespa, to his detriment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stabbed. Yeah. And then I guess that leads us to Vespa and her. The reason I don't like her, she has this weird tick with her mouth where she talks like this, or she does a lot of these things, like her lips go forward, and it really creeps me out. I know there's something about it. There's something about it, like I don't like the way she does it. And then I don't know, it's just her whole like demeanor. I know that she's supposed to be.
I don't know
like,
what it is about her. It's like she's kind of attractive, but I don't find her that attractive though.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
she's not ugly. But
I don't know what it is. Something. Yeah. I think it's that mouth. It's mostly that it's the mouth thing. Let me read the super chat over here. We got a super chat from Nate D for $2. What's up, Nate? Comix. Here's the mustache. Oh, where's the mustache? You shaved it off. You shaved it off.
I did, and I instantly regretted it. But this week I was getting my hair cut and my goatee re-dyed, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do the mustache. And I was like, I shaved it off. I should have kept it.
Should have kept that mustache.
So I'll give it 3 weeks, folks. It'll be back.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Tickle Trunk. What's up, Mr. Tickle Trunk? For 99 syrup coin cents. I got to do that. It's a shit sticker. Thank you for the shit sticker. All right, so I guess that kind of goes towards. It moved us from us meeting Vespa, and they have that kind of that back and forth where he like eyes her up and guesses all of her, kind of like Sherlock Holmes. I think that you're an orphan, and I think that you're over ambitious and stuff like that. And then she does it to him, and then ends up actually reading him more accurately than I guess he read her, and they have that kind of like back and forth there. And then they move. That's whenever they're on their way to, I guess, the main chunk of this movie, the Casino Royale, the poker game that Lashif has set up because he's trying to recoup because he lost so much money from the airplane not exploding.
Yes, so he's trying to win that money back so he can pay off the warlord that he borrowed the money from. I guess I don't remember what exactly
that part was interesting because through they have a couple of sets where they play poker, and then Lashif goes back to his room, and his girl gets he gets beaten up and whatever, and they're about to chop off his girlfriend's arm, and he doesn't say anything. He's just gonna let them chop off this lady's arm, and they're like, "Give me the money! You stole the money from us." Then they leave. They see Bond, they see Vespa, and they have that fight in the stairwell.
Yeah,
the stairwell, right? And they have that
stairwell
fight there. Then, basically, Bond just cleared up his problem, right? Because his problem was that Lashif.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily his problem per se, as much as he took care of the goons that are attached to the problem.
Oh, okay. Because I thought the problem was that warlord.
Yeah, it was the warlord. I don't think that was just him.
That wasn't the warlord.
I thought he goons. Maybe.
I thought he said my money, but he still owed money to. I guess he still owed money to the secret organization, the quantum organization, or whatever it is. So I guess ultimately he still owed them money because at the end he was like, "I'll get your money," but I was like, for the most part, he just cleared up your problem. Your problem was the warlord. You needed to give the warlord your money or the money back, but then Bond just kills him. So I was like, "What?"
Then he dumps the bodies in somebody's trunk.
Yeah. Did they explain whose trunk that was? Like it was. It was just some poor.
I wasn't
poor sap.
necessarily paying 100% attention this watch through, so I may have missed.
That poor guy. I feel bad for that guy. He just has dead bodies in his trunk now.
I'm pretty sure he framed a bad guy.
I hope so.
Hopefully, yeah.
It was Mathis though. Mathis is a bad guy. He ended up being a bad guy. But we get the lay of the land.
Oh, okay. So Mark is saying that he ran the bank that was used by various villains and lost the bank money.
Okay, so Lashif was like taking all of the bank's money, not just this one warlord guy's money. So just everybody's money. Why would you do that, man? You're a bad guy in a very deadly bad organization. Like what are you doing? How do you think it's gonna go, man? I find that interesting too, is that like Lashif was the Bond villain, but he wasn't even the baddest Bond villain. Like he wasn't even the top, you know, like he was afraid of people. There were other people that he was afraid of. I thought that was interesting.
Okay, Mark is saying terrorist financer Lashif.
Lashifra. They went back and forth.
Lashifra.
But then we get to the poker game. Felix Leiter's there. You don't find out who he is until later. Mathis. I always thought it was funny for like in a writer's standpoint, whenever they were playing the game and they were making bets and they were calling each other, every time they would cut over to Vespa and Mathis would be like, "There's $20 million on the table." He has a pair of whatever, you know, like every time for the audience, he would just explain what's going on. I thought that was pretty funny.
For people who don't understand poker.
Right, yeah. He's like, he's got a pair of twos. He's going to have to call his bluff. And that was an interesting part, too. The bluff, you know, with Lashifra, he had that bluff where he touches his gross eye. And that was his bluff. And then he ends up fucking it up because he bets everything on that. And then
he loses.
Loses everything. And that's when Felix Leiter, the bro, comes in from America, my American bro, comes in and saves the day and gives him that money. I loved him in the book. Yeah,
because Bond was about to go, stab him at this point.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm grabbing the butter knife."
He grabs the steak knife and starts going after Lashif.
Yeah, and he's like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, I'll give you the money." And then he has that line where he's, "What are you gonna do with what about the winnings?" And he's like, "You think we need the money?
Yeah,
we're America. We blow money everywhere." Doesn't matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who cares? But yeah,
we swat flies with $1,000 bills.
exactly. Wipe our asses with millions of dollars.
Literally and figuratively.
Felix Leiter's a cool character too. He actually
Yes.
kind of came back in multiple books as well later on. I don't know how much he is in the movies. How many movies he makes appearances in, but he was in the he was in the books. I
remember seeing him in multiple movies though.
Yeah. I always kind of saw him as like the counterpart of Bond. He was like the American version of Bond that you never really see his actions or his antics or whatever's going on over there, but every once in a while they would cross paths. Then I'm probably skipping stuff, but at some point Bond gets poisoned, which is, dude.
Yeah,
keep an eye on your drinks.
When he comes back with the money, he goes and the girlfriend of the sheep drops something in his drink, which is the poison. And yeah, he gets poisoned.
Gets his ass poisoned. And he drinks so little of it too. Like it was, I don't know what was in that, but it took him out fucking quick. He just took a little sip of that martini, was like, and he's out. And that was a good scene too. I thought that was cool. Where he basically dies. He fully dies. And Vespa comes and saves his ass.
Yes, she does.
But that was cool. It was like multiple times they were like, okay, we're gonna break for an hour, and then Bond goes and leaves, and then he gets in a fight, falls down a stairwell, kills two guys, car explodes or some shit. Then he puts a new suit on, sits back down. Then they play again, and then like, we're gonna break for another hour. Then he goes and almost dies. It's just crazy how he.
It's pretty funny
keeps
how
coming back.
So Felix is only in Quantum of Solace after.
Okay, so he wasn't.
And then he comes back for No Time to Die. But
was he in
absent.
any of the original, like the old Bond movies?
I don't recall, dude. That's a good question. I have to look in that. But yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, he comes back for No Time to Die, but he's absent in Skyfall and Spectre.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like him as a Jeffrey Wright. He's a good actor.
Yeah,
Really
Jeffrey Wright is good.
I'm interested to see what his James Gordon's going to be from the Batman.
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to see.
not too keen on race swapping, but he kind of does look the part.
Yeah, I think he's going to do a good job. I think that's whenever I'm okay with it. Like by default, I don't want race swapping. Just adapt the character that everybody knows and what he's supposed to be. But if you get a good actor, something like Jeffrey Wright, or all of the Idris Elbas, everybody always saying that Idris Elba should play James Bond. I think he should have played him maybe 10 years ago. But it's he's a little too old at this point, unfortunately. Yeah, but I think he would have done a great job.
I think he would have done a great job.
But yeah, I think I'm for it if it's a really good actor in that position. Otherwise, just adapt the character that we all know. So yeah, he almost dies again. I mean, how many times he fucking dies? He dies like 3 times.
Several times, man. And that's the thing I like about it is that, he's not this unstoppable juggernaut. He's definitely, like I said, he's a raw Bond. He's completely, he's not as refined as the other Bonds at this point. It's been a hot minute since I've seen the movies. I didn't watch Spectre, so I really can't say if he's gotten to that, Sean Connery refinement yet. But yeah, it's very different and it's interesting because, like I said, he's raw and he's a lot more physical because, I mean, you had some, physicality to the other Bonds, but nowhere near as much as this movie.
Yeah, he's running, he's jumping, he's smashing through shit, he's dying like 3-4 times. Yeah. He gets shot.
But it makes sense. He's not the super spy yet, right? He's unrefined. And so he makes mistakes, which is good. He's not, a Gary Stu. He's not like perfect out of the box, being able to pull off all this stuff. He does require help. And it's refreshing to see that in a movie where it's like, your hero is still human.
Yeah. They could have easily made him just like bulletproof, just like easily missing every obstacle like you could, with like a ray or some shit. But yeah, that's a good thing. They really make he would have failed if it wasn't for the people that helped him
out
along the way. Felix and Vespa and even Mathis, even though he's ultimately, spoiler alert, a bad guy. But yeah, he needs these people to help him out because he's just this like blunt tool that you point in a direction and he's gonna go do that. But I think that Daniel Craig he was able to pull off the suave kind of, seducer side of Bond pretty well in the slower points. But yeah, whenever it came to like action and talking to villains, it was very blunt. Like you said, whenever he lost, he was like, well, I'm not getting the money from Vespa, so I'm going to grab this steak knife and just stab him.
Stab him,
or
motherfucker.
take him hostage or some shit. So he definitely needed guidance, and I thought that was good for the first one. But he's still capable enough to still look badass and pull off that badass persona. And ultimately he wins. But yeah, so he gets poisoned by some unknown, I don't know if they said it, but whatever the poison was, and they call him on the phone, and he's like going through the defibrillator, and the scene where he looks at he's like, it's not working, and he looks at that cable and it's unplugged.
It's disconnected.
He's like, dead.
And then Vespa shows up and saves his ass.
She knows exactly how to use it. She was like, oh, cable here, press a button, you're alive. Very surprising she knew all that. But yeah, saved him. He got back, sat back down, and was like, well, that last hand almost killed me. Like, Le Chiffre, like, fuck, god dang it, I keep trying to kill this guy, he will not die. After that, then what they did is they played the poker scenes just enough where you're like invested but not bored, because I feel like you could easily be bored watching a poker game go, in a movie. We're like, okay, get at the hand, we pull out the thing. It was just enough. Like, there was a scene, I think it was one of the scenes earlier in the game where he goes and leaves, and then some crazy shit happens. I think it was whenever he fights the warlord guys, and then he sits down, and then Le Chiffre is like, you changed your shirt. He's like, yeah. And then it just cuts back to him in his like going back to his room. So they completely cut the whole game portion of it. Like he sits down and then he leaves again. But I think it's good the way they paced it. They didn't show too much. They showed just enough, and enough to kind of unfold the narrative, and they didn't focus on
and
that.
And they did it in such a way that they did a fantastic job of building the tension, because he lost that hand, and it was all in, and that's why he doesn't have the money anymore. And you end with another all-in hand, and you're like, okay, is he going to be able to pull it off this time?
Yeah.
And sure enough, he does, and that's just, it was very well played.
Yeah, well, the whole game was very well written, like set up, because the beginning, Bond puts a lot of money, a lot of chips in to figure out what Le Chiffre's tell is. Then next time you see a hand, a full hand, he bets on that tell, loses, so he loses all the money. Then he comes back, and then he plays again, like you said at the end. He goes all in again. He plays on that tell, and that is whenever he won. So it's like at first he lost, overplayed his hand, then played it just right. So yeah, I think those elements were done really well. Hey, Culture Casino up in the chat. What's going on? Toxic Man Flu of Dick's Division. Let me read these chats real quick.
Sure thing.
I see Nick Weiser up in here too. What's up, Nick? What's going on? Nate D for $5. Thank you, sir. I never liked Craig as Bond. He never had the Bond charisma. I could see that. A lot of
I kind of agree with that. He doesn't have the swagger as Connery did.
Yeah. And I don't think he ever quite got it.
I think part of it is that he didn't like playing the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they really had to coax him in to do No Time to Die, I believe.
I remember distinctly after Spectre, like during the marketing of Spectre, them saying, this is the last Bond. I remember them saying that somewhere, and him talking about how he didn't want to do it anymore. And then they started talking about it, and then they started they did another one. So I think it was really the failure of Spectre that brought him back for this one. I want to say because it didn't do quite as well, and it wasn't received as well as the other ones. So I feel like he wanted to come back and do like a better send off. Hopefully this one is. Who knows? Who knows? We wish. We hope. Culture Casino for $5. What's up, Culture? I got to get you on here at some point. We got to talk about something. Send me a DM. We got to figure out what we want to talk about. Let's make Bond great again. Bring in some very toxic males. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with the next one. It's probably gonna be a black female. I hope they do.
Shauna Lynch as 007.
Right. Yeah. I hope
again
they do it because, like we said, it was shot in 2019. That was Trump. Trump years. That was like peak SJW writing, agenda pushing time. We had the big break in 2020, and then 2021 has just been this weird leftovers of 2020 thing. So I'm perceiving it's gonna be woke. I'm sure he's gonna fucking die. She's gonna take over. It's just gonna. I'm so sad. Dang it. Because I like Daniel Craig, even though he was kind of soft and half the movies weren't good. But I hope he goes out in a good one. But what they're going to set up, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to go from here. Because I feel like they really put a lot of chips into this Daniel Craig, ship. And we don't do movies the same way anymore. Like in Pierce Brosnan and before, a lot of things were recast and nobody really batted an eye. They recast Batman like 3 times in the 90s. So I don't think people back then had such a problem with recasting a character and continue to watch the show or the movie. But I feel like now it's very like that's the actor, that face is that character. And if it's not that actor anymore, then it's not that same storyline. We see that with the Marvel, like MCU. As soon as Chris Evans is like, I don't want to play Captain America anymore. Captain America is old. As soon as Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to play Tony Stark anymore, they're like, Tony Stark dies. I don't know if it's an audience thing, if they don't want to see a new person in that role, if it's kind of hard for the audience now to connect that thing. Or if it's a writing thing. If you look at
how they did with Bond, they waited like a number of years before they recast.
A break.
Right? I mean, there was a pretty big break between Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Well, what was Pierce's last movie? It was like 2000. I want to say 99.
Yeah, 99.
Maybe it was like 2001 or 2.
God, I don't even know.
That was the one with Halle Berry, right? With the ice castle.
Right.
The really over the top one.
GoldenEye was 95.
And Brosnan did 4 movies, 4 Bonds, right?
Yes. Tomorrow Never Dies was 97. I gotta scroll down a little further.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'm gonna read the next thing.
Go for it.
Thanks, Culture. I appreciate it. Heavy Fuel for $4.99. Thank you so much. Love you, Garrett. But it's Vesper, not Vespa. Is it? Have I been saying it wrong this whole time? I thought it was Vespa.
I could have swore he was saying Vespa.
Like Vespa, like the Vespa.
Yeah. I always thought it was Vespa.
I guess I can. Whatever. I'm wrong.
Yeah. Die Another Day was 2002.
I was right with one of my guesses. One of my 3 guesses. I was correct. So 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. This is pretty short.
It was a 4-year gap. Yeah.
3 year because they shot the movie. A year earlier. But yeah, I'm at this point like the last movie Spectre came out in 2015 I want to say 2016, and this was coming out 2021. So there's a big ass gap in between just the last 2 Bond movies. It's gonna be kind of crazy. Anyways, back to Heavy Fuel.
Do you realize that he's going to be doing Knives Out 2 and 3?
And I don't even think he didn't do a good job in that movie. I didn't like his weird Southern accent. Wasn't a fan.
I didn't watch it.
Wasn't a fan of that movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's Vesper, I guess. Whatever. Vespa's a scooter, but I thought it was a play on, Octopussy. They had weird names. Vespa.
On a top.
On a top. Yeah, right? So,
yeah.
Come on. I thought that's what it was. Anyways. And have one in my garage. Oh, you have one? You have a Vespa? Cool. If had Vesper in my garage, I wouldn't be here. Eva Green fan, I see. Eva Green fan. Hey, whoa, it jumped on me. Toxic Man Flu of Dick's Division for $5. Nick, why is your flavors number ... Oh, sorry, wrong stream. Hail Comics Division in Quarter Black. Well, hail to you, sir. Or ma'am. I'm going to assume it's a sir.
Tox is a dude.
I know. Tetsunami for 5 CHFs. I don't know what CHFs is, but it's a little Doge. He's a little Japanese Doge sticker. He's doing a little karate.
He's doing karate moves, yeah.
Doing little karate moves. Thank you for that. So, from there, let's go back to the movie. He's poisoned. He almost dies. Vesper saves him. He gets back to the table. He puts it all down on the line. And he beats La Chifra. Vesper. Definitely. Are you serious? This whole time, my whole life, I've thought it was Vespa.
I could have swore it was Vespa. Yeah, apparently CHF is Swedish francs.
Oh, Swedish. Hey, what's up, my Swedes? One of my best friends is a Swede. What happens after that? What's directly after that? So they win.
They win.
Money.
They go to dinner. She leaves and gets kidnapped, and Bond pursues them. And this is great. I love the setup for this. They basically dump her in the middle of the road, forcing Bond to swerve and wreck the car.
Yeah, because he's driving like 1,000,000 miles an hour in that Aston Martin, the new one. 2006 new.
2006 model.
But it still looks badass. I'd say, like, if that rolled out of the lot today, I'd still be like, damn, fucking thing looks great. And its interior is all super nice. Anyways, I digress. It didn't have any gadgets, though, which is sad.
No, it didn't. That's fine, though.
But it was driving like a bat out of hell, trying to chase him down. And then it comes over that corner, and she's in the middle of the road, and he has a swerve, and he flips the shit out of the car. And they rip the chip out of his arm, and they drive him to who knows where this was? I don't know, like a shipyard or something.
Yeah. And this is the scene where we can see Mads Mikkelsen play with Daniel Craig's balls.
A great scene.
That was Swiss francs, not Swedish francs. I got that wrong.
Well, I'm sorry I called you a Swede. I hate Swedes. Just kidding. I love Swedes. I just said one of my best friends is a Swede. Anyways, I got to say that because it's YouTube and people take me out of context.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a great scene. Even though Daniel Craig is naked, I thought it was a great scene. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's pretty close to what happens in the book. And, the infamous, can you scratch my itch? you know?
Well, that's the thing that's so great about it, too, is, I mean, talk about just some really nasty torture and how he just keeps cracking jokes throughout the entire scene.
Yeah, like he was straight up about to get his balls cut off and shoved down his throat. He was going to do it, and he didn't give up. Like, that's how blunt of an object he is. He's like, I'm not going to give you the code. You're going to have to kill me. Like, straight up. That's it. And he was going to let him do it. And, yeah, but then in the last second, our friend, our confidant, La Chifra, gets freaking yeeted by the man. What was his name? Mr. White? The mysterious man comes in. And whenever I watched it this time, and it's been a while since I watched the movie, I was like, this guy's fucking everywhere. Like, Why did he come in here right now? Doesn't make any. I hope they explain what happened. They eventually do. But yeah, they save him in the last second. Le Chiffre gets a freaking bullet to the head because he didn't give the money. Well, it wasn't even the money. He says it's more about people we can trust. It's not about the money, and he takes him out. And then we see... Well, actually, we forgot earlier when they were having that dinner, and she says, "Oh, Mathis needs me for something," and she leaves, and he's like...
Right.
Connecting dots in his head, and he's like, "Oh, Mathis, what the wait?"
Yeah.
So he connected that it was Mathis that told Le Chiffre that Bond knew his tell. And on top of that too, we also find out right before the the rope scene that he basically says, "Yeah, Mathis is my guy." Yeah, you thought he was your friend,
but he's my friend.
And then he gets freaking yeeted. So he's out of it. He's getting... was it more severe? I guess it was more severe, the damage that was dealt, than I thought. Than at least it seemed. I mean, I know he's getting his balls whacked with the big, knot.
Yep.
But he gotten through so much stuff earlier in the film that I was like, he gets his balls whacked a few times. Then he goes to the hospital. Now he goes to the hospital. He literally dies. He has cardiac arrest, dies for 5 seconds. He's dead. There's explosions. He flips a car, all this stuff. And then that's whenever he has to go to the hospital because his balls got whacked. I mean... Well,
that's a pretty sensitive spot, man.
I guess so. And he even has a line.
You can survive a rollover accident, speaking from experience. Not that violently, but I have been in a rollover accident and walked out just fine. So I mean, that it can happen.
Ball damage.
No ball damage.
I hope. He even has a line later on where he's talking to Vespa, and he's like, it's like, "Whatever is left of me." I know he's talking about his soul or whatever. But it almost sounds like he's talking about his balls. he's like, you can have both. You can have everything of what's left of me or whatever. And I'm like, were you messed up that bad? You don't have balls anymore, man? What's going on? But I guess he gets super wrecked from the ball torture, and he's in the hospital, and he wakes up from a coma, I guess he was in, with Mathis there. And he basically... Mathis tries to fucking poison him.
Mm-hmm.
For one. He's right there. He's like, he could visibly see him pour the drink. He's like, I could see... You're right there. And the dude's like, yeah, I'm just going to pour this water. It was so obvious, bro. Put a little bit of spy in there. Yeah, he just straight up tried to poison him. And then they take him away. Beat him up. And he's literally sitting in a damn wheelchair, man. That torture took it out of him. I keep going back to that, but it took him out of him.
Have you ever had your balls crushed?
I don't know. I guess not.
You've been kicked in the balls, right?
Yeah.
Imagine being kicked in the balls.
Coma level though. I don't know.
Well, no. That's how many times did you do it? 5 times.
4 or 5 times. Yeah.
4 or 5 times. Yeah.
Because it takes it out of you. So with the intent
of damage, I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah. That's some good aiming though. I feel like I'd miss a few times and hit the thigh. That's a very small target. I feel like you have to be very good at aiming to get those balls. So we move on. We think we've won. We're off having our the sappy part of the movie. Where he gets away with Vesper, and they're on a boat, and Bond's all like, "I'm gonna quit because I love you," and crap. And then, as soon as Bond thinks he's out of it, Vesper freaking betrays his ass.
Yep.
Takes the money and runs. Gets out of there, which I think is a good kind of coming back to him being cold and like a damn shark, it comes back to him.
I think to be in that kind of industry, you kind of have to be,
right? And it's like
because you don't
he
know who's
let
gonna
his
betray
guard
you.
down.
Yeah.
And he even says it whenever whenever they're talking about Mathis. He's like, "Well, I learned my lesson." Like, no, you didn't, dude. You did not learn your lesson.
On top of that, too, it seems like with the Daniel Craig movies, is like he's like practically retired every movie. It seems
almost every single movie.
It's like he just became a 00 in this movie, and now he wants to get out. It's like, what the hell? And this is like my problem with like No Time to Die. It's like he's out of the game, he's retired, and then they bring him back in. It's like, how many fucking times did you let this guy retire?
Yeah. How many times did he send in a resignation letter and be like, "No, I was just kidding about that"?
I thought the only way like a 00 gets out is with a bullet.
Yeah, but I guess not. I guess you can just send an email, a very shortly worded email, and be like, "Nah, I'm out. Don't worry about me. I'm somewhere in the world. I quit." That does happen like almost every movie, though. I think it's like he quits, then by the end of Quantum of Solace, he gets reinstated. Then, what's after Quantum of Solace? Skyfall. By the end of Skyfall, they've changed M's, so it goes from Judi Dench
because she dies in Skyfall.
Right. And then it goes to Fiennes. What's his name? Not Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes? Ralph Fiennes?
Let me check.
Voldemort. Goes to Voldemort, and he's like, "Are you ready to get back in the field?"
Is that who that is? Really?
Yeah.
It's Voldemort?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. He says, "Are you ready to get back in the field?" He's like, "Yes, I'm very much ready to get back in the field." I'm like, did you quit again at some point during this movie? Yeah. He's quitting and coming back and quitting and coming back. But yeah, he gets betrayed.
He needs to make up his fucking mind.
He does. He chases her down because at this point he's reverted back into cold, "I'm gonna kill this bitch," because he's following her because he realizes that she left, and he gets a call from M, and M is like, "Are you gonna deposit that money?" He's like, "Oh shit, she never deposited the money in the actual account. I know that she's betrayed me, so now I'm gonna go kill her." He's following her, and he pulls out his gun. He's like, literally, "I'm gonna shoot her because she betrayed me." Follows her into that place. She's handing over the money. Then it's somehow they get into this this old building. There's another one of those fights. So it's like another one. There's like chase scene, fight. It's like the same formula, but this was a slow chase scene. It was very like stealthy chase scene. Right into that building, blows up those tanks, and the whole building's like sinking down. They have that fight. Vesper. I don't like saying it. I like Vespa way better.
Just say Vespa.
Vespa.
I'll forgive you.
Vespa. She's stuck in the elevator cage.
Yep.
He kills all the goons, and the cage goes in the water, and he goes down there to save her. But then she's like, "No, I'm gonna kill myself." She pulls the key out and like locks herself in there, and dies horrifically.
Yeah,
that death scene was really good because she looked like she was literally dying. Because she was like, looked like she was dying. And then right in the nick of time.
It's pretty brutal too, man.
Right on the other side of the nick of time. He opens the door and pulls her out, and she's dead.
And she's gone.
Yeah. I thought he did those emotional scenes like that very well, too. Like, I think he's a good actor. He's a good actor.
I think he is too.
Yeah. He does the cold, suave, and he does those emotional like breakdown scenes good too. But then he like goes right back into this cold Bond. Like earlier, the very first hint of that, Bond has some human emotion whenever he first sees the guy's wife that he banged the night before dead. Another brutal dude. Don't fuck Bond. If you fuck Bond, you die. You get killed. Like it's gonna happen. You're gonna die. Like she's all twined up in that hammock, and he has that subtle, very subtle kind of look that you can kind of feel like maybe there's something.
Whoever does this song, did this, I'm gonna fuck them up, kind of look.
Yeah. And then he turns it back off, and he's cold again. And he does that cold switch back and forth pretty well. Even it's like the same shot sometimes. But yeah, so Vespa is dead. And he gets revenge on Mr. White. Lures him with the phone call. Right? Yeah. He follows him. Then he shoots him. When he calls him and he's like, we have to talk. Bam! Shoots him in the leg. Dude's crawling. And you still don't know who he's working for. Because, Quantum of Solace.
Right. And
he says the line. Bond. James Bond. It's just... The trappings of Bond are so great. And being somebody that's not even a huge Bond aficionado, I've not seen all the movies. I'm not a huge Bond fan. I do love Bond just as a pop culture icon, and all of the iconography around that, the songs,
the opening credits are also really good.
God,
it's
so
they're
good.
So different, and they really nailed it with the whole thing with using the different suits as throwing stars and people being stabbed with diamonds and spades.
He loads the magazine with spades.
Yeah.
That whole opening was great. Chris Cornell song, one of the best songs. It's so good, and it's interesting because they went with, again, establishing this Bond as a very different kind of Bond. It's they went with a grungier alternative rock American sound for this, which is a very different sound. And they eventually came back Skyfall, which I love the Skyfall song, Adele's Skyfall opening theme. That's a great song too. But yeah, this one is top notch with at least the Daniel Craig opening songs. I think these two are very, very good. There's actually a Spectre opening song that is better than the actual opening song, because they went with Sam Smith for Spectre, and it was shit. It was a fucking horrible song. It was not good at all. But there was a song done by Radiohead for Spectre.
Interesting.
The Spectre, I believe. And for whatever fucking reason, they went with Sam Smith, because I guess he's more popular or some shit. But the Spectre Radiohead song is great. If you like Radiohead, it's a very, very good song.
I'm not a big fan of Radiohead, but I don't think their music is bad.
Yeah, you should listen to it. It's a very, very interesting song. It's slow, kind of melodic. It's good. But yeah, I mean, that brings us to the end of the movie. What would you give it on on a scale of Bond movies? What's your favorite Bond movie?
Scale of Bond movies? Jeez.
Yeah.
It's good.
Is it top 5, top 3, top 10? Not on the tops at all?
I don't know. I really have to think about it. It's what is my favorite Bond movie?
Yeah.
It's I would definitely say probably top 5.
Yeah. I think that's fair. That's very fair. I would say
I would give the movie, 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I don't go too high with my ratings.
I don't like going too high either.
I would say about the same, 8, 8.5. Because it's like I said, pacing is very well done. It has the mystery where it unfolds very well. Setup, payoff kind of things. It sets up Daniel Craig's Bond, even though they kind of fuck it up later. They set it up very well in this one. It was an origin. They set his kind of origin really well done. So yeah, 8.5, and I give it a top.
My only major criticism is what I brought up earlier about with him quitting every movie.
Yeah, it's like a trope they end up doing now.
Yeah, it should have ended with him being back as a 00 agent, and they shouldn't have done the quit.
Yeah. But yeah, they just keep doing that. Maybe it's because Daniel Craig wants to quit, so every time they left it open to be like,
yeah,
you quit? Yeah. But yeah,
That's terrible.
Let me write up some of these over here. I want to make sure I get them all. Oh! I've also got a donation over here. I appreciate the donations. Okay, last one was Tatsunami. I got you. Mr. Grant Gregory for $2 Australian, I guess. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're safe. I hope every time that the government tells you to send a picture, you send a picture of your dick.
And happy birthday, by the way.
It doesn't even have to be your dick. It's your birthday. Well,
yeah, yesterday was his birthday. So happy belated birthday, technically. Yeah.
Is it 2 days now? So is it for him? It's like a whole extra day. Is he ahead a day? Is Australia
He's ahead a day? Yeah.
Dang. We're super late then.
Today is their Thursday.
We live in the future. All right. Hail 3/4 white Garrett. Spelled incorrectly. Got 2 T's on there, bro. If you're gonna call it my whiteness, you gotta spell my name right. And the world's tallest dwarf. I mean, honestly, he could be talking about either of us. I think we're pretty much the same. He
really could be.
We're the same height.
Yeah, we're about the same height.
But thank you, Grant Gregory. Appreciate it, and happy birthday, happy belated birthday, Hondo, for $1.99. You gotta have on Jerk Comic. Who's Jerk Comic?
I'm not familiar.
Please check him out. Well, I'll check him. I'm gonna write it down. I got my notepad. I always end up having to take notes, and I never actually take the notes, and I forget about it later. So I'm actually gonna take this note.
All right, I'll drop in our private chat so you can.
Jerk Comic. Is it like Jerk Monger? Because I know Jerk Monger.
No, he's like a comic book jerk or something like that. Jerk Comic. Okay. He goes by Uncle Jerk apparently.
Jerk. All right. Well, thank you, Hondo, for the $1.99 and for the suggestion. I will check him out. Marksman of 117B for $2. Very specific name. I liked it. What's up, Marksman? I know you. Love you guys. Ever seen the show Blacklist? No. Is that the guy with the guy from?
He played Ultron. What's his name?
Ultron. Yeah, I was gonna say Stargate, but yeah, I think I watched one episode. I mean, I liked it. I never picked it up. I think the reason I never watched it was because I worked at the movie theater at the time when it came out, and the commercial for it came on every 2 seconds. So I saw it, I would say, at least 80 times a day. So I never, ever had the want to ever go watch that movie.
It's pretty funny. I actually have a spook friend who really likes that show.
Oh, yeah? Is it? Yeah. I mean, does it, since relatable?
I don't know. It's, to me, it just kind of came off as typical television where it's kind of over the top on certain things and ridiculous. And
I don't really get into those like procedural kind of.
Yeah, it kind of is a procedural.
You know, it felt very kind of like NCIS level television. And I don't go in for that.
Yeah, kind of stuff. I guess. I didn't dig the show. Spader, James Spader. There we go. That's the guy.
James Spader. Sandy Q. I hope you get the sand out of your queue for 99 cents and a popcorn sticker. Thank you. I appreciate it. And over here, the donations. Got my donations over here. That's where I physically put them. Alexander for $3. Thank you. I don't find Eva Green hot, but in this movie, she is sensual instead of just sexual, which does great with the tension of the movie. Can I get a review stream on my favorite movie, It's a Wonderful Life? Well, maybe. Christmas is coming up. Maybe I should do that.
It is.
Chastise me all you want. I've never seen the movie. I've never seen it.
Really?
So maybe I need to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I haven't. I always hear about it, but I've never seen it.
My mom used to always play that during Christmas.
Yeah,
whenever it's on TV, she'd always watch it. So
I always hear it's like one of those things, but I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the one where he wishes he wasn't, he wishes he was dead or something, or he wishes he wasn't around, and then Santa Claus
you basically see what
Jesus takes him away.
Life would be like without him. And
right. I've
seen
that that story done multiple times. Off of that. I saw there's a Family Matters episode about that. It was like, what if Steve Urkel wasn't around? It was pretty funny.
Everybody's life is better.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of like that. Like, everybody loves this. He's not around. But thanks, Alexander, for sending in the donation. It subverts, Susan Wojcicki, which is always a good thing. 860, Saiyan God. Is that 860? Or is it 860? I'll go with that. For $4.99. Hail, guys. Just showing some love. Thank you. I appreciate it. Love you, too. Appreciate the both of you. You guys
thank you.
give me inspiration. Don't change. Keep being a voice. It does rock on fingers, man. Or is that love? That's
Hang
love.
loose.
Or hang loose.
Yeah, that's hang loose. He does that.
You know what?
I have no idea.
Apple, the emojis for hang loose, it says call me. Like that's what.
Well, it makes sense because like call me,
I guess. But I always use it as this, and sometimes I'm afraid. I'm like,
loose.
hey, don't think I'm saying hey, call me. I'm saying like, hang loose. Like instead of saying like okay or I got you, I just go. All right. Well, I think that's about it. We wrapped up over on the super chats. We wrapped up on the donations, and we wrapped up on the movie. Anything else to add, sir?
In regards to this movie, no, not really. Like I said, it's definitely, in my opinion, one of the better Daniel Craig Bond movies. You know, Skyfall I also liked. Never went out of my way to see Spectre.
You should. It was not good. It was not a good movie.
Do you have any predictions for No Time to Die?
No Time to Die. James Bond's gonna die. I feel it. I feel like he's gonna die, and
it's in the title, right?
Right.
Makes you wonder.
But I mean, James, like, how are you gonna? I don't know. I go back and forth. But I feel like Lashana Lynch is definitely gonna be like the more capable spy agent. He's gonna be old. They're gonna play up the oldness of him. I don't know. I don't feel good about it. And it's been delayed, so it's super old at this point, the film. It's like 2 years old, and we're just seeing it now. So, yeah. I just don't know where they're going to go. I really do hope that they wrap up this Bond in a nice bow, but I don't know how they're going to do it, because it's been such a weird up and down roller coaster of quality, all of the Daniel Craigs, like we've said. But yeah. I don't feel good about it, I will say. I don't feel good about it. But I'm going to watch it tomorrow, because we got to talk about it on Friday Night Tights.
Yes, we are.
So we'll see. We will see.
Are you going to watch it in the theater, or are you going to watch it streaming?
I'm going to go watch it in theater. I'm going to get off work and go watch it, for sure. I feel like this is the way you get it. I mean, if the movies are out in theaters, I'm going to go watch them in theaters. That's what I say. I'm a big fan of the theater.
I am too, but
so
kind of hesitant about giving them my money. So.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, you're going to give them money anyways.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, what was it? It's airing on HBO Max, right? So we already have an account at HBO Max.
Oh, right. So. You get it for free anyway, basically.
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, so all right, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below after the stream. I appreciate all of the super chats and the donations. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys being here live while we do this talk. And next week, I got a big guest. Next week is Nick Rekieta.
Ooh, nice.
Law. I got Nick Rekieta. He's coming on the stream. Finally, we keep missing each other and going, hey, man, come on the channel, but he never does. Now he's coming on. Next week, we're going to be talking about Event Horizon, because I wanted to do a Halloween horror movie. So that's one of his favorite movies.
That's a good one.
And yeah, it's a good one. So we're going to be talking about that next week. So tune back in. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your cousins. We're going to be talking about Event Horizon with Nick Rekieta next week. And the great guest this week, Comix Devision. Plug your shit, man. What are you doing? What's up?
Well, this week has been kind of lazy in the content, so I just been doing the stream thing. But yeah, tomorrow night there's gonna be Thursday Night Throwdown. Of course, every Friday is Friday Night Tights, which is gonna be a fantastic stream because I'm looking forward to talking about No Time to Die.
Yeah. Well, all of the secrets will be revealed, and we will know what's going on. It's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. But thanks again. Thanks again for coming on. And anytime you want to talk about some kind of movie, some movie coming up, you're like, hey, I haven't talked about this movie. Let me know. We'll do it over here. And all you guys in the chat, stay classy, okay? I want you to stay classy. I love you.